Morning, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi.
Chuck, are you on a rocket ship or something with that headset? You look pretty fancy.
I'm calling in from Mars in case you hadn't heard.
Just trying to find he got out of here.
I left long ago. I saw what was coming.
I like Chuck. Chuck looks like he's hiding in a bunk bed. Like he's built a fort in his house. That's awesome.
Well, that's a just window curtains you see there.
Hear that or Chuck's hoarding toilet paper. Look at that.
I get it in large sheets.
He quilted, Chuck. So Charlene and Susan are cracking up. They can see me, but I can't see them. Play a little music to drum us into this class. How does that sound? Can you hear this?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear that?
Yes. Yes.
What is it?
Happy
Sorta.
Day Confusion.
Man. It's a good motto for
Campaign song, wasn't it?
what's that?
Was his campaign song?
Yes, it was. Yep, and so it's a good class song to bring us into this class in particular and into these interesting times. Because as I have said to people, if Franklin Roosevelt could teach us how to walk again, we sure as hell can get through this crap. So it'll be a little weird for a while, but we'll be back in class, I think, hanging out together, and that will be fun. People are learning how to do all sorts of things via online, doing class. We went to Mass yesterday via online, which is pretty amazing. Amy had a birthday party on Saturday, and we started out with a group of friends, but then her cousins got in, and next thing you know, the cousins took over on her birthday, make her feel like everything wasn't just out the window. So that's good.
Anybody have trouble finding parking for this class?
So let me ask, like we always do, everybody knows everybody now. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time introducing, but let me ask, does anybody want to share what it is about the Roosevelts that you find interesting and compelling to take this class? Is there something you're looking for, something we can be discussing, anything like that?
Well,
Um,
since nobody else is jumping in, I think it would be good to talk about his leadership abilities to bring us through the Depression and World War II.
Okay.
And just maybe point out how some other presidents may not have those same kinds of abilities.
Interesting. I won't assume there's any questions about modern stuff in there, Mick, but
Oh,
you
no.
know, never know.
Mike,
But this background here, you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa,
The
wow.
Arts Library at Hyde Park.
Oh, cool.
Wow. Wow.
also,
We'll feel like we're live from Hyde Park.
Oh, wow.
So anybody else have any thoughts about, clearly I have a list of things we want to talk about in the next few weeks, but anything in particular people want me to focus on, or you have questions?
But not necessarily focusing on, but when he got polio,
Yeah.
how did that all work out in his being president, that part of his life?
Okay, that's good. That's on the list as well.
Okay.
I'm interested in what caused this kind of patrician-like fellow to become so much liberal as we consider him today.
Okay. I gotcha. All right, anybody else?
It was in the way journalists portrayed him as
Journalists.
opposed to today. Yeah.
That's a good question, because I was watching the movie, remember that miniseries called Eleanor and Franklin? The miniseries back in the 70s, and it was fantastic because the first scene or so after FDR dies, it's kind of he dies and then she looks back at his life. Two journalists get on the train with her, and this journalist talking to her about, and they're supposed to be objective, but they love the guy. So that kind of stuff his relationship with the press is fascinating. So we'll talk about that definitely. Have any of you read anything about the Roosevelts? What's your? Did any of you ever see him? Some people remember seeing him back in the day when they were little. My father-in-law remembers seeing him back in 1940, he came through Wheatland, Wyoming on the train. And I remember seeing him live. Or did your parents see him? Or anything like that you have memories of?
I remember that part of the family hated him.
Yeah,
My
my
part of
mother,
the family loved him.
Yeah.
And when those particular aunts and uncles came over, we were quiet.
My earliest memories about politics was the contest between Landon and Roosevelt.
Okay.
And there was a neighbor who came over. I must have been younger than knee pants and was trying to induce me to vote for Landon. And my mother was, oh no, he wouldn't vote for Roosevelt. And my father hated him. I don't know where that really came from, but so that was the kind of environment that I grew up in. So my appreciation of Roosevelt came at a later date in my life.
Well, there's an apocryphal story about a guy who used to go down the street in New York City, and he would pass a newsstand every day, and he would grab a look at the New York Times, look at it, put it back, and the next day go by and take the Times, put it back. This is during the 30s, and finally the newsstand guy said, "Sir, you stop by here every day, and you look at the front page of the paper. Can I ask what you're looking for?" He said, "Well, I'm looking for the obituaries." He said, "Sir, the obituaries are on page 5. The guy says, "No, when the son of a bitch I'm looking for dies, it's going to be front page news." Because the people of his class, like Chuck talked about, the patrician mentality, the places he went to school and college, those folks hated him by and large because he betrayed their class. So, and Kennedy had the same experience. People that went to Harvard with him and to prep school, like, what are you doing helping out the little people, the poor people, the outside the system people? You're supposed to be helping us. But we'll talk next week about Roosevelt gets that from going to Groton, his prep school, because the headmaster of Groton, Endicott Peabody, is a guy who drills that into his kids' heads. And it's the patrician thing Chuck's talking about, that you had an obligation to help others if you've been given a lot. Of those to whom much is given, much is required. And that FDR really tried to live that out, I think, all the rest of his days.